Shalom. First and foremost, we give our praises to our God, Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem HaKadosh, Kal Kal Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Hashem HaKadosh. As in ancient Hebrew, saying our praise to Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Yahweh is the correct name for the God of the Bible, who the world ignorantly call Jehovah, God, or Yahweh. His son's true name in the Hebrew is Yahushai, who the world ignorantly call Jesus Christ. The true name for the God of the Bible in the Hebrew is Yahweh. His son's true name in the Hebrew is Yahushai. And give them honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And shalom to all our brothers and mothers pushing this word in sincerity and in truth, to all that believe in this gospel. Shalom. Brothers are from Camp James, Jamaica. And this lesson, also in once again, see the title, Who Shall Bemoan Thee? You know, whereas the old people over there in Cuba, you know, which are of the tribe of Manasa, you know, suffering by the hands of, you know, basically hammer the hurt. It's as though them pound allegedly you know, Esau with him shenanigans, and you know, a lot of some of the leaders are actually sellouts as well among our nation, you know, in Venezuela, referring to the Venezuelan situation, you know, but even today we saw a report of see if we can Google it. 11 dead after US here in the Caribbean. I think this was a Sunday. Jamaica Cleaner News report. So far, they still murder people. This is from Sky News. There's 11 dead. He says 11 dead after yoke boats in the Pacific and the Caribbean, and this is dated well, 1 day ago, I think this is 17, so yeah, today, but yesterday, yeah. So like a type of fine to actually Wednesday. Yeah, Tuesday 17, you know, February. Right. It says 2 vessels carrying 4 people each were hit in the eastern Pacific Ocean, while a third boat with 3 people was struck in the Caribbean Sea. Right. You know, murdering people. You know, them Venezuela, you see me? And running from Venezuela and actually kidnapped the president allegedly. You see me? Off of false charges. So all him push drugs, and we know America, the CIA chief when they want to push drugs, right? But lo and behold, you see me? They are basically running from people country, bomb them, murder people, and so much Cuban people murder in the operation, basically, you know, extra President Maduro. You see me? But even now with the situation, because we know Venezuela were at league with China and Russia, and the same with even Cuba right now have league with Russia. But we see where the plane is actually, you know, if it escort or them say 4,000 Russians in the country, and then basically suffer from blockade from America. Europe not see nothing. You see me? Russia no really do nothing. China no really do nothing. And see them like everywhere where people suffer, we see, say, oh, at the end of the day, no one really gives a shit. You see me? If them do really help, as the scripture say, oh, if there's need of him, you know, he will use thee. So don't pretend that, yeah, man, once you have basically to protect them interests, but to really be a head for you people, you Israelites, right? Because again, the so-called Negroes, Native Americans, also Latinos, to be a true head unto your true help unto you, then don't expect that from these nations, because over years and generations, where you know really work out for your benefit. You know, this is Jeremiah chapter 15 and verse 5. It says, "For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? No one gives a shit." You see me? None of these nations care, yeah? I was seeing it playing out over and over and over and over. Right? Who has stand up to defense? Man, and even during the time of Jacob's trouble, you know, you may have one or two cracker protests. You see me? For the most part, there will be no, oh, this wrong. It's keep a tell with Psalms 83. Say all these nations, right? Psalms 83. Start at one. This is a song of Psalms of Asa. Keep not thou silent, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thine hidden ones. They have said, Come and let us cut. Um, it says, They have said, Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. They have, it says, For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. On the list of these nations, chiefly Edom, so-called white race, which these Russians are actually Edomites as well. You see me? So at the end of the day, they're all against us. They'll pretend like, oh, yeah, human rights and oh, yeah, this, but they don't give a shit. You see me? They don't care. And you're going to see it over and over and over and more so while we enter into the times of Jacob's trouble. You know? This is Lamentations chapter 4, verse 17. It says, As for us, our eyes, it says, so I can get rid of them so in order to terminate this. Stop. There we go. So okay with that. It says, as for Lamentations 4, verse 17, it says, As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help in watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. And an idea, them they set up to even save us. You see me? Just give us a want to go to the curse, but I can get that real quick. Deuteronomy 28 verse. I'm not sure the first week verse. One is saying 60. Yeah, let's start 64. It says Deuteronomy 28 verse 64, which is a curse that will follow people in a whole because we transgress against the Lord. Like our main religion right now in Venezuela as well and in Cuba, right? You can Google it. In Cuba, that's the Christianity where they worship the white Christ. You see me? Which is idolatry. Also in Venezuela. Christianity, worshiping the white Christ, is idolatry. Same in Jamaica, it's not like Jamaica better. You see me? So Jamaica soon get buffed too. But our people is constantly rebelling against our power, you know. So that's the reason why we suffer these punishments under these nations. So back to Deuteronomy 28 verse 64, it says, And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods at the white Christ, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even with stone, because we know the first thing first, the name of the Most High is not Jehovah, his son definitely named Jesus Christ, and they're not so-called white people. Instead, what they give it today is like imagery like Serapis Scriptus, here, white Christ, or idol. All people flock to it, following the ways of Christianity, which actually now known for the Bible. They're opposed with the Bible, but they're actually against it. It says, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and filling of eyes and sorrow of mind. Which we see where people are witness that right now. You know, look on the whole ice situation in America. See, Trump basically a pound, Cuba, pound, Venezuela, and the rest of the Caribbean in fear, right? What's the prophecy? When they give a shit about Trump, we're going to come out and tell that cracker straight, say, yo, brother, slavery for you. Right? The most are going to jack you up. We're just suffering, because of transgress against the power. But you are nobody that's going into slavery according to the Bible. It says, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. So there's no power in our people, and definitely not what them gutterats over there experiencing right now. Quite the contrary. Them are murder people. Them dominating the world. So sure they're not the people. He says, in the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even, and at even thou shalt say, would God it were even morning. For the fear of thine for the fear of thine heart wherein thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, referring to our captivity, which were yet this day in our captivity, we were not free, don't fall for the okey doke. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. So we don't go back over there in the wilderness, so no we'll lose the land even. Right, get kicked out and no go to rest over there. Claim that they are the Israelites fighting off the Palestinians, which are heathens as well. So basically heathens are fighting over our land, while we over here suffering in the west. He says, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondman and bondwoman, and no man shall buy you. And when you look up buy here, go back to redeem, because if you're sold, that's past tense. So obviously somebody have to physically buy something. Yes, and so the buy here is actually redeem, because that's how slave usually get freedom. Either you pay for you pay the money that was paid for to your captor, or you basically was money meted, you basically just set free. When you be like the gladiator, you do a great task, you complete a specific task, you get the freedom. But here, they say nobody now buy you, because who is going to deliver us? Yahweh Shai. None of them nations now going to be, they don't care, right? Which is not their duty to care. So when we go back to Lamentations 4 verse 17, says, as for us, our eyes have yet failed for our vain help. Oh, people say, oh, America, or maybe the European Union go, or UN go come in. No, they don't give a shit. It says, in our watching, we have watched for our nation that could not save us. They owned our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. And I look on it like even the fishermen them out there in Venezuela, they pray for God. You see me? Because there come Trump and the military bomb them, calling them, drug smugglers. At one point, even the Trinidad government, they say, yeah, man, a good man, bomb them, them are terrorists, them are evil people, until even for them fishermen start get bombed, you know? Right? You see, the Latin, not the native or Hispanics in the US pray for God to work, because ISAC grab them up, is carrying them to detention centers, basically abuse them. But now come out of it. People afraid for God, and it's only gonna get worse. Time of Jacob's trouble, is basically brewing. It says, our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. They pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness. Yeah. And it's been always a thing through history, where especially even Edom always did it for come up against our people, And it says, the breath of our nostrils, the anointed of the Lord, was taken in their pits, of whom we said, under his shadow we shall live among the heathen. You know, going on to say, oh, he's our judgment next. You see me? Because we right now are drink of the wrath of the Most High. You know, that's how we're suffering under these nations. Sorry, Isaiah 42 verse 8. Sorry, Isaiah 42 verse 22 says, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. Who is majority? Watch. Um, Maturity. Let's see, we can go with this now. Who or which race is more in yes, incorporated. So okay, this is just a general search. So which who really that was that. So okay. It says black Americans are disproportionately represented in US prisons, making up roughly 34 to 37 of the prison population, despite being only 13% of the US population. Allegedly, this is leading to an incarceration rate of 5 times higher than that of white people. While white people make up a significant portion of the total, black and Hispanic individuals are overrepresented, constituting 56 of the total incarcerated population combined. There we go. But who do most crimes in America? Let's do a simple fucking search. Like, for example, serial killers. Now, no Minnesota so-called black or Hispanic man. But this seems to be one. Who knows? We don't worry, yo. You see me? But for the most part, yo, they're all crackers. Edomites. You see me? Let's go Grievous. What are we mainly seeing? Yeah, I went on to Jake there. But for the most part, what are we seeing? So why does Jake for the 50th percent and not these crackers? You see me? We about the Jeffrey our PDF files, you know. So at the end of the day, people suffer more in the hands of the so-called white man, these leadings, and just you know, right? No one cares. No one is saying why we suffer like this, you know, right? So back to Isaiah 42 verse 23 now. I read back 22. It says, "But this is a people who have been spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes." And in idea, the words are prison planet for the Israelites right now. It says, "And they are hid in prison houses. They are for prey, and none deliver it, for spoil, and none say it restore." Nobody cares that the Israelites are suffering, not ruling, not being declared of who their true nationality really is. Come out and say we're the true Jews. You have to speak in codes, because video gets strike. Won't ever speak the truth. It says, "Who gave Jacob for a spoil, and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord? He against whom we have sinned? For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his laws." So you don't need the most side of this. You know, but any the nation, you know, can. You see, them see it as a convenience, so them can basically continue to rule. Right? You see, they say, all limitations too. in a specific verse. So let's see. So all pass by, clap their hands. Yeah. Lamentations 2 verse 15, it says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee, they hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? Like, what a nigga the name man with them shot, allegedly. Is him who been talking shit against the people, yo. Right, well, them are coming worse. I can't remember him same life right now, but you know, a lot of crackers are like that. You know, followers was huge to the point where you show up acknowledge him. You know, like him in the body. Right? I'm glad we see it, yo. It says, all thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day that we looked for. We have found it. We have seen it. You know, so them gloss it some. They don't care, right? This is Isaiah 8 verse 11 says for the Isaiah 11 says, for the Lord spake thus to me with a strong hand, and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of this people, saying, say ye not a confederacy to all them to whom this people shall say a confederacy, neither fear ye their fear, nor be afraid. Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. Um, let's skip down to the main point I wanted. I think it's 19. Yeah, it says, and when they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that peep and that mutter, should not a people seek unto their God for the living to the dead? Yeah, so we should be seeking to our poor, yo, not to these heathens, not to idols. You know, we're supposed to look to Yahweh, Shemi, or Shai, because we've seen over and over that they need to worship, brother. Yes, and that's fine. That's expected. That's what you should be doing. You know. So I'm just coming across this video spirit just moving to actually do this lesson. While the world is quiet, while people in someday suffer, right? Cuba suffer right now, which there are people, so much is judgment at the end of the day, using but once the punishment, is accomplished upon people, so them something, yeah. No worry, man. You'll see the true wrath of our poor. So this elephant, you like how they are giving our praise to our boy, how about Shem, Shai, about Shem, Kakadash, the one is into our elders and apostles of great stone. Shalom to the full, like, shalom.